reason for this is they like to abuse getting that overall last pick as a carry when they play the second pick, but they realize if you play a hero like Morphling, like Medusa, and maybe even some games of Naga, these are like the 3 heroes in the meta that you can just pick them early, and you'll have a fine lane regardless. That's kind of their mentality going into this, because these type of heroes, if you get them right away, you don't have to worry about that last pick getting counter-picked from your carry position. So they're just going to pick the Morph right away. And the logic that I'm going with, that I think 9 Pandas has as well, is kind of like proving itself here too. Like, they really value this Morphling even over the Medusa, thinking it's the counter matchup, which I would agree. But on first pick, they want Morph Medusa. On second pick, they want a last pick Ramses, and they want to ban out the Morph and Medusa, so the other team can't just have a stable offlane.
Yeah, and because they are banning the Pugna, it tells me that when they are second pick, it feels like they favor the team having second pick, opening the draft with like a Pugna plus Storm, you know. So, I mean, the hero is also really good without the Storm. Like, without the Storm, he's still a really strong laner. You still provide your heroes with your team with a lot of like push. You're really good in the lane.
If your first pick, like you said, you leave like either one of the best carries in the pool there, right? So you're guaranteed to basically take one, or you get your first pick of the litter on that and then draft around that. And then if you're second pick and you give up one of those heroes, then I think you're in a lot of trouble in the draft, because they can play that lane into anything and they can counter pick your other 2 lanes. Yeah. So I think that makes sense. And then Liquid, we've talked about this coming full circle from the start of the tournament. They seemed as equipped as any team for both playing with and against the Morphling. And this is a pick that we saw very early on in the tournament. They would use immediately against the Morphling, the Visage. It usually goes into that lane, provides some early pressure against the Morphling, and then sort of hits these like aura and timings that are a little bit faster than the Morphling. Liquid has chosen often a very timing route in dealing with the Morph. In addition to like scale, which we've seen a few times when they run like a Drow or something, or a Slark. But we've seen Necro, we've seen Visages as their first phase answers to Morphling, and here they go for it immediately this game.
Yeah, you probably see there's a high chance that they're going to pick Drow if it's not banned in the second phase. So I do feel like whenever you're playing against Morphling, you need to understand what is Morphling's strength. He's really good in the lane, and after the lane, he actually just needs to farm. He wants to get to the stage where he has Aghanims, Manta, plus another item, like maybe BKB or something else that he needs to. So before that phase of the game, the Morphling is actually not that strong, and Visage is one of the few heroes that can actually abuse the fact that the Morphling is not ready to fight, and you can just take the map or even get a set of racks at minute 20 to 25. So I think that's probably the best route right now. I feel like to deal with Morphling, you need to try to do damage towards the game before he actually hits the Aghanim's timing.
Yep, and I think if you're Liquid on the opposite side of the coin here, you also want the carry matchup to be good, because it's really hard right now in the meta, and you don't see many teams just try and end the game early. It kind of just feels like you had a good laning stage, things kind of just fell into place just through one team fight or something. Then the game might randomly end around that 25-minute mark, but nobody ends up like playing the game like we have to end the game at like 25 minutes and build a draft constructed just to do that specifically. So you do want to feel comfortable going into the late game here, and to do that, if you're Liquid, you need to make sure you have probably last pick carry. Because, as I mentioned before, a lot of carries just can't be blind picked. We saw the Juggernaut in last game. It wasn't blind picked, but it has the same effect. Like, there's some heroes that just go farm, and they feel like they don't have a lot of purpose, but if you lose your lane, and that was more prevalent when we saw Beast Coast get eliminated, they pick a PA, right? This hero, a lot of the carry heroes, if they lose their lane, they just can't farm very quickly. So they need to see their lane matchup, and it also has to be good against Morphling.
Yeah, but don't you feel like if they leave it to the overall last pick, everything good might be already banned out? Like, I feel like with the Visage, you're probably thinking with either Drow or maybe a Luna to fit the whole draft, you know, and I guess right now, because they banned the Dusa and PL, so you're probably going to still be able to get one or the other.
I think
that's just the state of playing carry right now. It's like, it feels like your options are very limited for the carry pool if you don't see your laning matchup.
I think Liquid has more confidence against this Morph precisely because they can go either the scale or tempo option, and so that's too many bans. Because you can see, like, Pandas are, obviously there's like Medusa being the other obvious carry, but they're starting to ban illusion heroes, right? So that's one route that gives you some amount of scale against the Morphling, but there is also tempo, there's also something hits a timing, there's also these Slarks, these Drows, there's a lot of different options, so I think they don't feel quite as bad about getting overall last pick against this Morph, because they can kind of have a different approach to dealing with it.
But can you get a draft in the end that fits the whole lineup? You know, I feel like that's what happened the last game. You know, they opened up with a decent opening, but they couldn't finish the draft with picks that made a lot of sense with the overall strategy. And right now, that's my concern with Liquid. If you leave the carry to last, can you actually find a good pick that rounds up the whole draft. Because right now, Naga's banned, PL's banned. Like Naga and PL are probably the few better heroes that if you're talking about late game against morphing. So right now, all the heroes are banned. So it means that you kind of are left in the pool where you need to pick a carry that fits with the Visage and you try to play for more tempo and early game. So you're not going to scale against the morphing.
I think outside of Slark and Drow, there's not going to be a lot of very comfortable carry picks going into the morph into late game. But that's your other option, is maybe you pick some Luna or something, get ahead early and hit a timing and just be like, we're not going to play this late game against you, we're just going to end the game before you're ready.
Yeah, we saw Beast Coast try out obviously they love the TA and the SF.
Yeah.
So both would be
Yeah.
a solution potentially as well.
Yeah, actually, I like that you brought that up. TA is like a hero that will work with the Visage, and you get Roshan, you take the map, you're really fast paced, and I think that really fits the criteria here when you're playing against morphing. You want to end the game early, you have the toolkit as TA, and you also have the silence with the traps, which can be really annoying for the morphing if he's rushing Axe after Manta and he already used his Manta in the fight, especially when you have global. So then the TA trap with the silence could be effective against morphling here.
Right, so there you go. There's plenty of heroes you can last pick then. And I think you do want to last pick these heroes because you need to pick the right one that has the best lane. You can't just blind pick it. Like, you probably don't want to pick TA anymore. There's a Darkseer in the game.
I think if your last pick overall, you always want to have that piece of the puzzle that solves it.
Yeah.
And the only position at the moment that they can do that with is the safe laner.
Yeah, they might pick their carry now since they are showing the Darkseer. And Darkseer is definitely one of those heroes that limits your hero pool even further. So you're going to want to pick something that can do well against in the lane.
I guess you know the full lane, because, well, either Spirit Breaker Darkseer or Rubik Darkseer, really.
I mean, that's also the problem with picking a position 5 silencer, right? It doesn't really open up your carry pool, you know, because like when you pick Drow and when you pick Luna, you kind of want your position 5 to be like some Spirit Breaker, Clockwork, somebody to soak up damage in the lane for you. Like a silencer and Drow or silencer plus Luna, the lane just doesn't feel the same. And right now, 9 Panda see the silencer, they just pick Darkseer plus Spirit Breaker because silencer doesn't like to play against the Darkseer Spirit Breaker lane.
Oh, there's an anti-mage, there's a faceless void.
But if you pick those heroes, then I feel like the Visage kind of feels awkward in the game. You know, we might see a repeat of the first game where the offlaner, the Mars, didn't really connect with the rest of the team.
What other hero would you like to see against the Darkseer?
Yeah, I guess you don't really have an option that fits the lane and fits the game.
Bloodseeker. But then you're playing Bloodseeker into Morph. You're on a Ultra Timer, and Bloodseeker is not a hero that will scale against it. And it's not going to hit buildings either, but it will win its lane quite hard.
So you have to win your lane, you have to ball together with the Visage, and you have to try to end the game ideally before minute 30, or at least take a set of racks before minute 30. So that's going to put them in a lot of pressure on the time.
There's like two sides of the coin there. Winter was like, he wanted the more tempo, so I was thinking, yeah, Bloodseeker, it's going to feel great in the lane, but it's not going to win you the late game. But it will give them the tempo. If they wanted to win the late game, there was like an anti-mage Faceless Void that could have went that route, but they want to play more for the tempo. They want to play around the Visage's timings, which means they're going to try and punish 9 Pandas this game.
And they get the counter pick there in mid lane as we are looking for a hero for Nisha and Kiyotaka.
I feel like Kiyotaka just needs to be on something like maybe like a puck. You just try to push out the wave. Your hero is very elusive. It's very hard for them to kill you. So you're constantly shuffling out the wave and delaying the push from the Visage. Because he doesn't really need to be on like a greedy hero anymore. Because you have Darkseer and Morphing. Those two cores are already very greedy. So ideally your mid hero needs to be like a cheap hero. Doesn't need too much resources. And
you just delay the game.
Yeah, you're delaying the game and playing for the other cores.
I'd like him to play Ember on Liquid here.
They could just go for
Not
something
Liquid,
like
sorry,
a
9 Pandas.
again as well.
Not against Bloodseeker, I don't think that's a good idea. I think whatever they pick for their mid laner should be able to play in front of Bloodseeker's face and deal with the Rupture.
There's a Huskar ban, right? So that's just the Ember.
I think
yeah,
Ember
but that also has to mean, like, that's the most obvious, hey, you really should ban out Ember here. Unless Team Liquid has something planned to go up against the Ember.
Ember, Storm, Queen of Pain would all... Storm is... It's not banned? It's not... It is banned. Okay, so Ember will get banned. Storm will be banned. You can blink and then move a little bit when you're Ruptured, which makes it very difficult to play against. So I think they banned it last game, didn't they? The Queen of Pain.
Yep.
Really early on, so
Yeah, in the second ban phase already.
it's a fine co-op game. I don't see why they wouldn't go for it.
I mean, but DK is not bad, so you might get hard counter in the lane. I would actually prefer still like Puck. I mean, sure, if you pick Puck, they can still pick DK. But I think as a Puck, if you lose your lane, if you're comparing Puck and Quap, like both heroes losing their lane, I would prefer to be a Puck because I'm still useful if I have a hard time.
There's
Oh,
the
wait.
Templar Assassin.
Wow. That's
Wow.
totally different from what I expected. It's like a greedier pick overall. So they have like TA, Darkseer, Morphing, very, very greedy cores. And I guess the idea is like they want to try to put more pressure in the laning phase. So you play the map more, you push out the waves faster, the traps, you cut waves, and by doing that, you delay the timing, essentially.
I
against the
mean,
resist.
Rupture also is one instance of damage, so if you get Ruptured on TA and then you blink away, it's just going to take one refraction charge. So
Yeah,
TA
fine.
doesn't mind as much playing its Bloodseeker. That's exactly what I think they needed. They need something. This is the greediest thing they could have done against the Bloodseeker, but it's the same thing. Something that can just play in front of the Bloodseeker's face just a little bit.
So what early timing mid hero crushes TA mid?
It's time for a Venomancer or what?
Time for a Viper? Yeah, something along those lines.
Time for
That
one of the
would be
green heroes,
very-
maybe if they all commit to that option of like we need to end
Bat
the game
Rider's
with-
in the pool if they want to go that route. I feel like Bat should be impossible to play against.
How about Tiny mid? You think it could be an option?
Put the tiny mid, get
Yeah.
Boxy to play something else, maybe?
Nah, just play Bat mid. It's a TA. Come on, you're going to win that lane. You're going to be high tempo. You'll be initiation. Got a
The
silencer.
decision is made. We'll see a Death Prophet.
Wow.
Now that adds tempo to it.
I mean,
How-
that's also a good matchup against the TA. I think it kind of fits the overall idea that they have drafted so far. They want to be fast-paced. You win your lanes, you push towers. That's basically a very, very straightforward idea. That's what DP gives you.
Mhm. Is it enough?
I think it is, like they have very good tools to group up and end the game. The silence is all useful against the Morphing before he gets like a BKB or a Manta. And I think that even though it puts them on a clock, but they have the right tools because they're going to have superior lanes.
So if Team Liquid's going to win this game, how long will the game last? Because they have a high tempo, but when you say high tempo nowadays, how high are we speaking? 14 minutes, 30 minutes?
I'd say you want a decisive advantage between like 25 to 30 minutes at latest. I think anything beyond that, if it's still like close after that, you're probably in a really tough spot.
I think they just can't have like 2 high ground pushes that fail in the 25 plus minute mark, because if that happens, they're going to just give all the gold advantage from the laning stage right back, and then your lineup is going to have a hard time against this TA and this Morphling.
So we do feel like Team Liquid is going to win all their lanes.
I think so. Their draft is looking quite good in this game. As everything Winter said, it's exactly what they needed. They can push even more tempo with this DP. Should win its lane. It looks good.
All right, pushing tempo for Team Liquid, and with that, maybe pushing into a third game of this best of 3 series. Will it happen? We're finding out together with OD Pixel and Fogged.
Thank you very much, GBS. Game 2 here, ladies and gentlemen, of Team Liquid against 9 Pandas. Fogged, we're getting the morph coming through once more.
We are.
9 Pandas, they pick it nice and early. Liquid, this is going to be their approach against it. As you said, we have been seeing the morph being beaten recently in some scenarios. This game, this draft, do you think Liquid's got the power to do it? Or could they fall to a 2-0 to 9 Pandas in this series?
A possibility if they cannot stay clean and stay aggressive, but I mean, I feel like every time I'm watching Liquid, they're going for like just winning all 3 lanes and then trying to just dominate the game after that. But they've definitely slipped up a lot. Quite a bit of mistakes in these. I mean, I guess it's just like since yesterday, right? Going for these tempo kind of drafts and making mistakes, which in this type of game, if they make too many mistakes, this is going to be a strong scaling draft from 9 Pandas. So they go for Death Prophet. So I think maybe they were identifying also in the last game, because besides what the panel was talking about, where there's like, where's like that big burst with the Mars combo, how could they take buildings? So I think this time around, they were like, okay, we're getting a Visage, which is good with Morph, good versus Morph, and takes buildings, and we're even kicking up the tempo more. Nisha's going to play Death Prophet. So they're looking to play super fast.
I mean, where does sort of Death Prophet sit at the moment in your eyes? Why don't we see more of it? When is the good time to go with the Death Prophet?
I think it's undervalued, actually. I'm not sure when you ideally really want to fully go for it right now, but I guess if you can get some type of good matchups and you don't see the most burst damage on the enemy lineup, because they're now looking at 9 Pandas, I guess their burst, it takes some time to get online. It takes until they have some itemization from the TA, itemization from the Morphling like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think this hero is actually quite underpicked because it's got a ton of buffs. I think all the 7.33 and onwards or something like that, it got buffed. And I didn't see nearly as much of it as I was hoping to, but let's see. Let's see what we can do again. Let's see if it's going to work. See if tempo is going to work. Greed versus speed. Will Liquid get the speed to work this time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you were saying what during the draft as well. You like to see the Tiny picked up when it was by Liquid?
I like the Visage Tiny lane. I think now we're seeing the two of the better answers in particular versus Morph. It's like the Enigma Tiny or the Visage Tiny. One, you can get kills. One, you can slow down the farm. This one, it's a kill lane. I've just seen these Tinies actually just catch every Morphling off guard. Like 3 tree throws, a Blood Grenade, a hit, and then a Soul Assumption, and these Morph tend to die. That's all going to be what Liquid wants to do in this early game is get that early advantage. And let's see if they can. Because I'd say top, they have that advantage. Mid, they have a pretty good matchup. Bottom, this, even though there's a Bloodseeker, the Silencer might make this lane a little bit weak versus Darkseer Spirit Breaker. We'll see.
Sure. Good. Well, overall, you do feel that Liquid's going for a similar time.
Yeah.
If they don't get the lead, push the advantage, this Morph TA likely to outcarry.
Likely to carry. Yep. Absolutely. Unless they have like a very substantial lead, I would say by 20-ish, 25. This could be difficult for Liquid, but yeah, let's see if it does go down. I'm going to keep watching Ramsey's top because you blink and you miss it.
Sure. He can die quickly if he's not careful.
And that's perhaps also why they do like having, besides just the Bloodseeker versus this Darkseer versus the Morphling matchup where you're just keeping this Morphling at like 10% HP. But they're going to get the kill back.
They are. They're able to take him out at 9 Pandas. They should lose solo in return. Mid-game gets the kill.
Can we get a bash cam? Was that 3 bashes? I'm not even sure. He got 2 or 3 bashes. I'm not certain, but they do get that kill as we, that's the lane to look at least for the side of 9 Pandas in the early game. That Darkseer Spirit Breaker, it's very impressive.
Miro should be fine. He has a surge. He's just waiting for the curse to end. I say that. Mid-K can get another hit in. He can't quite. Miro.
Blood right.
Gonna have to dodge the blood right. Mid-K. He's able to get in and get that final touch. So
Okay.
they've got the early kill 9 Pandas, but Liquid, they'll get a second kill for Mid-K in this lane.
Yep. I mean, Bloodseeker is going to be that strong answer, of course, versus the Darkseer. It's just the Silencer that definitely can give up a ton of kills down here. Let's see how mid goes. I'm curious how this matchup ends up going nowadays, too. Used to be okay for the DP, but my goodness, Kiyotaka.
Yeah, he's going to do good. It's a
Feels
great
he's gonna
start
do
for
excellent.
Kiyotaka.
Yeah.
First few waves, he's having a fantastic time.
Man, I mean, Kiyotaka has been on the rise, and I would say that Nisha has definitely been faltering a little bit more than people would have anticipated. Say that, but Kiyotaka now maybe going...
Verifier, one more hit! Oh,
Tower armor.
9 HP.
Tower armor saving him for
It
sure.
certainly did. Meanwhile, back down bottom, Solo. He's going to be able to get back in, take out Insania again. McKay, can he find the trade kill?
What are the bashes?
I mean, if Solo gets a bash, it could get pretty messy pretty quickly. You got to watch out for this Darkseer Spirit Breaker combo.
Level 3, almost on Miro. Okay, back down. I mean, Solo,
Couple
careful.
of bashes in a row there.
Solo might just die here now.
Charge. And indeed, with the curse upon him, Solo will pay the price.
That's a fun lane.
Yeah, they're playing pretty reckless down here. And
Top.
it should be okay. It's still, even if it's early, he's able to shift enough strength, quick enough Ramses, so they won't be able to burst him.
You say that. I gotta keep eyes on it there.
Some sort of random tree coming
One
in.
soul assumption and a
Gone.
tree. Yeah, it could just bring him down. They will get the Rubik. Tons of aggression coming up from these lanes. Ramses is
Mid-lane,
doing okay though.
It's getting
Yeah.
rough. 19 for 4 against the 9 and 2. That's Kiyotaka on an absolute roll in the mid lane.
That is interesting. Amnesia's gonna do the build that people did
Bottom.
on DP for a long time. We'll have to wait for that. Too much aggression.
Got Solo zooming around here, trying to get in under the tower to look towards Insania.
They
Look
use-
how squishy the silencer is. Charges back up. It's going to be another dead silencer. Insania. Or maybe, yeah, the bash is there. Insania's gone. They're having a lot of fun
Another one.
there. Solo.
I mean, look at Antares.
I mean, he wants to join the fun. All the action's happening down here. I see Solo look to try and run Mickey out the lane as well.
7
Gotta
kills.
back off.
7 kills in 3 minutes. Mickey's getting zoned off the wave.
He is. It's not easy to step up, especially as they saw Antares showed his face down here as well. It's not a fun place for Mickey to be.
Nicely done with the glyphing the wave, right? I feel like we see that so much from these Darkseers. Glyph, dive the wave, they'll get a successful one, but now, will they get something back? They'll get the surge off.
Yeah, they're able to split and avoid the blood right.
Okay. Death Prophet a little bit behind, but you see the Darkseer, they're getting kills, but he's behind on last hits. Zai, Roxy.
Living on the edge, they're both Sai and Ramses. I mean, they tried to abuse the fact that Boxy had left the lane, made the move over towards mid.
Look at Antares' inventory. This is the saddest Rubik on the planet, but it's all about playing with the Morphling. So double salves and raindrop just to throw onto Ramsey so he can continue farming. Ramsey's 18-6, getting slowed down a little bit.
Well, they tried to go for Miro again. It's going to be fine. In terms of regen, of course, just sitting on the ring. He's out of mana.
Kiyotaka's not going back to the mid lane. As good as he was doing, this is where the matchup becomes just dominant for Nisha. Pushes him completely out. Level 5 is hit.
Solo surged up, looking for a lucky bash, won't find it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kiyotaka is literally just completely full jungling. I guess the wave's going to push down to the mid lane. He'll get these next 5 hits. And they're actually setting up with the charge. The dive, I mean, Boxy's here. Looking the wave.
Let's see if Liquid get away with this dive, because TPs will be coming in from 9 Pandas. The avalanche onto Solo, but Antares has turned up. I don't know if Liquid's going to get away with this. Boxy's in trouble. Nisha will get a kill on Solo, but they'll lose Boxy in return. He immediately pops the Exorcism to try and turn this into more. Now for Antares, chasing him down. Further TPs to be coming in from 9 Pandas, but not before Antares goes down. Nisha gets the double.
Kiyotaka could be in trouble also.
Miro's going to turn up, offer the surge to allow Kiyotaka to keep a safe distance. Back in action also, Solo's going to be TPing over towards the mid. Can they punish Nisha? Solo,
he's got a siphon in a second.
They've got enough damage. The meld hit comes in. Nisha trying to keep alive with that final siphon, but that is his last one. It's going to be enough though, as Nisha able to walk away. He's actually going to turn back in. Manages to pick up the power rune, get that illusion rune.
He should full heal off of it as well too, pretty much. How much the Ghost end up giving him.
That's good stuff there for Nisha. Had that slow start in the mid, but off the back of that, making that aggressive play, hitting the 6, he's back on but exactly back where he needs to be as a Death Prophet in this.
Absolutely. And I feel like this is one of those examples here where it's like, you haven't played versus this hero much, and then it's like, oh my god, Spirit Siphon's still broken, everybody be careful. They do have a Rubik though, so remember, that's something we're going to have to always look out for as game does progress too, is there is a Death Prophet, but it is picked into a Rubik for these spell steals, and into a Morphling. So Morph, I feel like he's one of those heroes that can actually utilize Death Prophet siphons amazingly. Even though you're not shifting into this like Agi or anything like that, just playing off of the DP spells is very nice for a Morph. 6-4, slight lead, only slight though for Liquid. But this mid tower, it's going to drop very soon.
I mean, they just continue to pile the pressure onto Kiyotaka. Nisha going with the siphon. Caught by the trap slow. Up top, Antares tried to head over towards the Wisdom Rune, but Boxy still grabs it, and he'll also grab the kill.
Farewell, my friend. Nisha will get charged, but Solo's not going to complete that one. Wisdom Runes was a 1-for-1. We saw Antares attempt for the little steal there. But yeah, mid tower, it's going to very, very quickly soon drop. Let's see if they look to make multiple rotations, because right now the supports, they're kind of struggling. Solo, he's doing okay, but Antares, he's playing like a full 5-position Rubik at this point. Kind of, I guess he has to, because Solo's playing the Spirit Breaker with the Darkseer, but this is not going to be that Antares show that I think we saw last time from the Primal Beast in particular. It's going to take more time for him to be that flashy Rubik.
Yeah, just super hard for them to make any move onto Nisha in this mid lane now. Now that he's got the treads, he's level 7. As the 4 points in Siphon, and Exorcism's going to be back online in 5 seconds.
Yeah, now the bottom lane is kind of broken as well too, right? The Darkseer has to jungle. They find Solo.
The toss back. He's going to look to charge away. With the curse upon him.
Kiyotaka.
A few more hits. The stick charge is going to keep Solo fine for a little longer. And indeed, in the mid, they get the big kill. They take out the TA once more. And Senia, can he get the curse on Solo? He can.
He can.
Solo, he's going down as well. Liquid starting to push the game towards a similar point that they were at last time in game 1 around the same minimum, where they were building this early lead.
And their lineup this time, as I was saying, it hits towers. Last game, they couldn't really hit buildings whatsoever. Like I think you said it once or twice. It was like, this mid-tower, like they pretty much couldn't hit it.
I think it was 20 minutes in, that's barely touched the tier 1 mid. Yeah, this time round, of course, it's well and truly gone. Just 8 minutes in.
8 minutes in, and Vizai, he's got the familiars already finished up. He's doing the build that I think we see popularized now with the Solar Crest, because you just get these little cheap stats with your crown, magic wand, double branches, and everything. He's got it done already, so the pressure is probably going to continue to go up toward top next here from the side of Liquid. And Mickey, he already has Maelstrom. Like, even though they lost some hero, they lost a Silencer and stuff bottom, it is a Bloodseeker versus that Darkseer, and he's been able to just keep himself all the way at the top here. So Liquid, this time around, much better, at least in the tempo. Just can they keep it up?
Definitely set up much better for success this game, even though they did have a comparable early game lead in that first time round. The factors here this time with the draft, definitely seem more favorable.
Yeah, as long as we see, I mean, as long as DP, we'll see what the hero overall, how it ends up working into like the later stages of the game, especially when he's playing into, you know, giving siphons to both Morphling and Rubik and stuff like that. Nisha gonna be going down this Witchblade route. I like it versus the TA quite a bit. We'll give you protection and offensive potential here. 2K lead at the moment. 45 seconds until they have Exorcism. I mean, Nisha very likely to just, I think that's when it's just the call to maybe invade the enemy jungle, that top jungle, and also take the top tower. But that's going to be pick your poison, because if you do go top, then it's going to be Kiyotaka. He's going to farm up these Ancients, which I imagine are both going to start getting it very stacked up for this TA. Solo actually misses the stack on the secondary one. That happens. And now he's going to check to see if it's blocked.
Which would be nice powering to be able to hold for Nisha. The Arcane.
It's a really good one, yeah.
And looks like they will be able to. I mean, 9 Pandas, they're not heading over towards the river. Nisha will have an Arcane ready to go for that next Exorcism.
Arcane straight to the top rune of that
Arcane,
tower.
Exorcism, push top tower. Sounds pretty appealing. We'll see if that's the move they want to go for.
It's going to be fully spotted, of course. They have wards, as well as traps to see.
I don't think they care if they get spotted, because they can just push this tower, and I don't think 9 Pandas will want to do much about it.
No.
They don't want to fight into Exorcism right now.
No, they need... this lineup is pretty slow, honestly, from 9 Pandas. Having a TA in the mid lane, having a Morphling, it is quite greedy. Especially with the Darkseer being lane versus that Bloodseeker, he's slowed down as well. So yeah, this tower, it's going to drop. Nisha, not even going to use the Exorcism for that. Nisha actually looking like he wants to potentially set up for a kill with it. Yeah, he's TPing bottom.
All right, yeah. Play a bit more aggressive here with the Ghosts, as the Ghosts are out.
Miero.
The Rupture upon him. He's going to try and keep his distance. Look for a deny to the neutrals. Not going to get it. Nisha's in with the Crypt Swarm. Another kill for him.
They're snowballing pretty hard, 10-4. Top tower, it's dying to Familiars. Bottom tower should die to this Exorcism too. A lot of map control going to kind of be gone here from 9 Pandas. A nice rotation here from Nisha. Witchblade's done. And that was the end of the Arcane Rune, right? If I'm not mistaken, for the Exo. So he'll have it up very fast. And he used his TP, so his TP will be up faster too. This one feels a lot more difficult for 9 Pandas to slow down. They don't have ways to fight back versus this early game. No.
Someone's going to try and charge in, but there's really no fight to be had. I mean, well, maybe with Miero, they're going to try and go.
Okay, Exorcism's ending.
Can they kill Nishi? He's still got 2 more siphons to survive with after this one. They're going to try and burst him with Kiyotaka focusing down the Death Prophet, but the heals too strong. Ramses waveforms in, but he can't quite finish off Mickey.
Uh-oh.
And now Ramses, he turned up to a tough fight. He's going to get caught by the Bloodbright. Mickey gets back in there. They bring down Ramses. They bring down Solo. This game, too, it seems to be falling on to 9 Pandas to make the mistakes.
Sometimes you play versus the DP. You haven't played versus it in a while. The siphons come out. They do not have the damage. I'm actually surprised they went for that play. Kiyotaka now, he's ruptured.
He's got TP.
See?
He's going to catch him. Just in range with the tip of the Avalanche, as they'll be able to set up to take out Kiyotaka. Maybe more. I mean, they've got eyes on towards Antares. Antares will be able to turn with the stolen Avalanche.
He's going down, probably.
Yeah, Zai's birds, they're upon him. The stun's coming in. Miro's going to offer up the surge, but Antares, he's already gone. 14-4, 6K lead here for Liquid.
Much better execution from them and a much easier way to, as you said, I think just being able to take these towers is really quite indicative of how much pressure they're able to apply. They're even now invading all over the place here because all 3 towers are gone at 12 minutes in. They're even going to stack and farm inside this enemy triangle. Just kidding. Insania blocks it. He says, Nisha, nice try with your efficiency. And 9 Pandas are going to need quite a bit more time here.
Yeah, it's going to be a much more difficult game for 9 Pandas to recover when in terms of, like, when you look at the carry, right? Ramses this time, he's not on an out on this Morphling, and a Morphling that just turned up to a very painful fight down bottom, so
everyone's struggling.
Needs a lot of space, a lot of time to really get his game back on track, and yeah, with the implications of Liquid's move so far, it doesn't look like Liquid's going to give 9 Pandas that chance.
That is the fastest Mjolnir. I'm calling it. That's the fastest Mjolnir ever, right? 13 minutes.
Let's get up the stats. Or did we already have the stats?
I didn't see the Mjolnir one. What?
It's a 12-minute Mjolnir.
12-minute Mjolnir. Who the hell got a 12-minute? That game must have been a stomp. That is so early. That is actually insane how far Mickey is. And they're going to keep this pressure up. Top tower, probably on the horizon here. Glyph is actually on cooldown. Yeah, they can probably just go for this one if they know that Glyph is down. Tanking up, too. These heroes are not squishy by any means on the side of Liquid. 9 Pandas.
Ramses, they're going to look for him.
Shows himself.
He's going to be able to find him. He throws out a sort of a nuke into the creep wave. He tries to go for a CS with the adaptive strike. It costs him his life.
Oh, and this is just getting too much here for 9 Pandas to handle.
I think so.
global play. The blink now for Boxy super early. Everyone on Liquid is having a good game, and almost everyone on 9 Pandas is having a real rough one. Even Kiyotaka. Boxy, maybe they can punish him at least.
They're going to try.
But the toss...
He's going to go straight for the TP out. Good call from Kiyotaka. Won't manage to save himself. Of course, back at the river, they did not have the damage to kill Boxy off. Solo's going to charge back in onto Insania, but this Spirit Breaker ain't killing any of these 3 heroes. They're just going to turn and kill him. Another kill for Mickey.
How the hell was there a 12-minute Mjolnir? I'm still like, what the... Who would it have been? Maybe it would have been a Bloodseeker.
I mean, that must have been some sort of brown... It was definitely some brown
boots,
Mjolnir rush,
yeah,
right?
Something like that.
It was pretty wild, but indeed, yeah, we see here, as soon as he reveals himself, Boxy's quick with the jump. And of course, at this stage of the game, Ramses, he's only got that Yasha, does not have the Manta. So you get a catch on him, you're going to be able to blow him up.
Another one.
They're fine, Kiyotaka. Ramses is going to turn into Tiny, use the Avalanche to try and hold them back, provide some sort of protection. The refraction's back up, they've got the charge and the wall down
Nice
onto the 2 of them. This is a decent attempt at a fight back from 9 Pandas that will get them the kill on Boxy.
Siphons.
He's still healing up. See if Solo can stay on top of him. No, he's going to back away from this. Mickey, he gets it to get the double. He's now ready to swing across and look to help outside to find more. They're in onto Antares. The Rubik's going down. Triple kill for Mickey. They have to run. Ramses and Solo, they've got no part to play in this fight. As once again, Liquid coming out on top. Only Boxy going down there.
This Death Prophet pick seems perfect, honestly. Nisha, he's 5-0-5 this time around. Tower's dying, pressure's being given. He's being the frontliner. He's tanking for his allies. They threw everything onto him here. He just Spirit Siphons. And Tara's actually stole it, but it doesn't do nearly enough there. This one is... So it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely seeing the strength of coming
Another
into...
one.
And do this mid lane Solo. Is he going to be able to run? Get the charge off.
But he's low HP.
He's going to be all right.
Okay, he'll be able to get away.
I mean, Boxy, he picks up the Invis ring. He might stay on the hunt for him. Let's have a look if Boxy can do something sneaky.
Ooh, Solo, careful where you're clicking. Okay, he'll be able to get out.
Yeah, Boxy's actually going to head back over towards the mid. They might
He wants
get
bigger ones.
jump on Kiyotaka.
Yeah, he wants a bigger target.
Antares.
Level 12 on Nisha. Exo's back up. Feels like he has no cooldown.
And Boxy can get the toss back. It should be a surefire kill. Antares hiding in the trees. They're going to look for the jump onto the TA instead. They get the toss back. Nisha got the Siphon and the Ghost up. They're in on top of the TA. Is there any way for Kiyotaka to separate himself? No. He's going down. Antares to fall as well. 2 more dead. The Exorcism out. The tier 2. I'll put the fortification. But they should be going down pretty soon as well as Liquid. They keep their foot on the pedal.
2 minutes, way too much pressure. A Yule's, a Witchblade, they have so many. The 3 cores are just absolutely massive. Even the support's catching up to those cores with this pressure plays and all these kills they're getting. It's 21-5. I mean, Mickey's gonna have BKB Mjolnir before Ramses even has his Manta.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And yeah, definitely not slowing the pace down by any means. Having this natural tower push, it just continues to give them the map to be able to swing over, continue to pressure, and just give no breathing room to 9 Pandas. Is there even mech yet? Okay, mech just coming out from Mira, incredibly late as well. All these item timings have been delayed so much this game for the side of 9 Pandas to try to be able to fight back. Mech, seems like that's going to be the call for them to attempt to fight around.
See if they can catch. If they can get one of these cores on their own, maybe they can get the kill.
And they're playing, Exo is on cooldown.
Okay.
BKB is about to be delivered.
I mean, they're underneath the vision here. Boxy's going to have the eyes on them, and he's in with the jump. He gets the avalanche onto the 2 of them. Mickey just commits in. We'll put the BKB. See if they want to get back into chase for more. Looks like they'll respect 9 Pandas, and 9 Pandas are able to split.
I mean, maybe if the BKB literally doesn't get delivered at that exact second, they perhaps could get Mickey there, but still a difficult kill. You can feel 9 Pandas kind of grasping at straws this early game from Liquid. It's been their cleanest one.
Well, we have seen them lose some advantages in the past, but yeah, this game it's going to have to be like another level of mistakes really for Liquid to let this one slip away.
It'll have to be a pretty big blunder on the pushes in particular. Maybe it's could be with some type of like maybe some big steal plays. I think a lot of that is going to be like Antares if he gets some crazy type of exorcism, maybe that it gives him some type of enough damage. But yeah, difficult. Or Rupture. I mean, he does have a good one.
Ramses, he's got a fair bit of strength build up, and he has got his Manta done. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They still catch him.
I think the Blood Right hits.
I think
I think he Manta into the Blood Right.
Manta the DP silence, and then the Blood Right hits, or vice versa.
They're going to continue. Exorcism's back up. They're going to go for this end.
Boxy, there's another grab. He's in. Gets the toss back. Another kill.
Oh, this one field might be done and dusted.
This is
There's no glyph even for this tower. It's dead. That's Rax at 19 minutes.
Yeah, we've had some quick games at the major. This one's definitely going to be up there if this continues at this pace.
Nisha's going a bit of a different item choice here now, too. He's actually going to be going for the Aghanim's. Cool. I mean, it's cool with Exorcism. It does make your spirits do more damage, so. He doesn't even have to use Exo. This tower is just dead to the Visage. They're just going to go top?
They could.
I feel like
top
they
lane's
could just go
exposed
top.
as well.
Dire's middle
They're actually gonna back it up. That's actually a bit surprising. I thought that they were just gonna keep going because they have Exo, but maybe Nisha's saying, I'm 100 gold from Aghanims, and then just saying that he's gonna go for it. Or maybe they take the super safe route and they go Roche.
They could.
Especially because,
Roche.
like you said, they did end up like, you know, that yesterday, especially versus Tundra, after having like a 12k plus lead, ended up losing it, so maybe trying to be as safe as possible.
Yeah, I mean, this is, obviously, if they lose this game, they're going home.
Yes, and you know what? It is daytime, so it shifts to bottom. They have the tier 2 to push down bottom too, so let's see if 9 Pandas can mount a fight. This feels like it could be their last one.
It could be. If this goes badly for them, they're probably losing the base, probably losing the game.
Boxy,
Not a bad start. If they can kill the Tiny quickly,
they have detection.
he's going to be able to still get the avalanche off, and indeed that jump's not going to go well at all. Boxy's fine. They'll get a nice 4-man vacuum, but there isn't really any follow-up.
No.
Ramses, he's been ruptured at the side of the fight. Mickey did pop in a pretty early BKB in this team fight.
Ramses.
He's trying to back away. He's got the manservant to remove the first silence, but they're in on top of him. Ramsey,
Too much
he'll get
damage.
taken down. They will get Mickey
Okay.
in response. Can they get anything more, though? Miro and Antares falling low. Zionisha still pretty healthy as they'll push on to take down Solo. Miro's going to get followed down by Insania as the curse is upon Miro. He's up to the high ground, but Insania will finish him off. 4 dead on 9 Pandas. They get Mickey, but it's just not nearly enough. They
Box
still
once
lose
more.
more. They've got eyes over towards Key Attacker. He's trying to hide, but they've found him. The sentry down. They'll toss back the TA. Get the team.
Team wipe and then a wisdom rune. Nisha beyond godlike. This time it's flawless from him. Okay, now they're all dead. Maybe don't go back for the rush.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, as you said, Nisha having a few games recently that were a bit shaky. He's making up for all of them and more here. 10-0-10.
With a clever pick. I gotta be honest. Like,
I think
don't
they
most
weren't
people
ready for this
expected
pick, right?
No, I really don't think so.
And I think we definitely saw, that the power kind of bringing in a hero that players and teams, they're not too used to playing against.
Another
Definitely
setup.
a lot of moments where they underestimated what this DP could do.
Yeah. And a great lineup to really play around it, too. Playing around the Visage, it's all about just pressure, pressure, pressure. 20 minutes, there's been literally no space for 9 Pandas to farm this time around compared to the last one when Liquid just couldn't take the buildings. Yeah, a much better approach. A much cleaner one.
They'll protect the bottom set of Rex in the tier 3, so
Yeah.
Liquid, they'll back off. They could look to go back towards the Roshan.
Yep.
So last time 9 Pandas attempt to bring a fight down here did not go great, ended in getting team wiped. They might try again because it's sort of all they can do in this position.
True.
We'll see. They're grouping up down bottom.
Exorcism back up in 30 seconds. Liquid being patient on the high ground here. And when they see a target, they might just strike. They see Kiyotaka.
Boxy, he's ready with the jump once more. They get the toss back onto the TA. Kiyotaka's gone. 9 Pandas, they just have to run. So if they get the opportunity, Mickey's ready to look to chase them down. Antares will manage to telekinesis back the Bloodseeker momentarily, but this Bloodseeker too speedy. Mickey gets the double.
They might just lose more. Boxy. It's on solo.
He's going to get the catch.
Another one.
Toss
kills.
into the blood right. 3 dead. None of them with buyback. Not that it matters. I mean, they're sort of the position they're in, the low levels. They will be back pretty shortly.
And now you don't go for the rush. You have Exorcism again, so now you go for the push. No glyph. Rax is quickly going to fall, and they're just going to pop the Exo and try go for the Megas. They call it.
They call it. Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. 23 minutes in, Team Liquid. They take smarter response because this game to this draft, 9 Pandas, they just didn't get to play their game whatsoever, getting completely smashed across the board. But indeed, we're getting the whole excitement once more here at the Bali Major of a deciding Game 3 coming up around the corner as Liquid. They stomped this game 2, and it's now 1-1 between Liquid and 9 Pandas.
No lack of damage this time around for Team Liquid as they are able to tie the series, and we are indeed going to another third and deciding game here in the lower bracket of the Bali Major. I'm joined by Fear, by Winter, and Jack, and we're going to break the game down. We did say that Team Liquid have a very fast-paced lineup. We actually... Fear, I feel like we kind of nailed this one.
We did. I mean, the last draft, we got a couple things wrong there, but this one went exactly how all of us thought it would go. You're going to win your lane with the Bloodseeker versus the Darkseer. You're You're going to do well in the mid lane with your Death Prophet as well. The one lane that I wasn't entirely sure was going to go was going to be the Visage versus Morph, but in paper, Visage should do really well. They won all 3 lanes. They had the tempo. They grouped up, and I think 9 Pandas made it a little bit easier for them just by last picking that TA and putting them even more all in that situation where they're probably going to get ran over.
I mean, I just felt like they just needed like a hero that can hold the game together. You know, you have the Darkseer, you have the Morphing. It's already greedy enough, and like adding a TA just means that you're risking so much, you know, with the whole draft. And you don't have the overall last pick, so you don't know your lane. And you could always argue that, oh, we didn't expect the Death Prophet, you know, to come up, but you're putting yourself at risk of all these counter picks by picking TA when you don't have the overall last pick.
Yeah, I wonder how much effect that has. Obviously, the priorities change again for the 3rd game, so curious how that will play itself out and how big of an impact that has. Jack, Team Liquid in the lower bracket, they do seem to level up when they're with their backs against the wall.
Yeah, and I think if there was maybe one thing you consider in this series as 9 Pandas, it's don't play against the Morph and don't play the Morph. I mean, it's hard to say you'd be afraid to pick a hero that's been the hero of the tournament that you've had so much success with. But I just feel like Liquid has so much up their sleeves against this. I feel like they have a lot of different options, whether to scale or to tempo against it. Like, even if it's not a Death Prophet, you know, it could be like a slightly different game, like a Lone Druid or something like that. Like, very similar type of playstyle that they can use against it, especially when they pick something in the first phase, whether it's a Visage or Necro or something else that gives them a tempo advantage. So I feel like just very well drafted and executed from Liquid. Even if top lane didn't go as well as it needed to, you have this Visage hero. He has stuns, he has burst, and he's not an easy hero for Morph to immediately go in and kill, which is what Morph wants to do, especially in these early fights. Just be able to quickly take a hero out of the fight, basically. And yeah, it's just too much overwhelming early game momentum on the side of Liquid.
Yeah, speaking about too much, this time 9 Pandas had too much of a late game, and during the break we were talking about how it's really important that you have to strike a balance within your draft. You can't have too much late game, you can't have too much early game. You want to have like a balance, like an early game, mid game, late game, everything is there, so you don't get abused in the draft by your enemy team.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think in this game here, it's happening over and over again when I see 9 Pandas lose. It's most of the time on first pick. They seem to have a really good grasp on how to play the second pick, but whenever they pick this Morphling, I feel like you need to make this hero, if it's your overall first pick of the game, you have to believe in it, and believe it's going to carry the game. It is one of the strongest carries in the game. You don't have to pick more carries with it. Just make your whole draft about the Morphling. I really did not enjoy the Kiyotaka TA in this game with the heroes that he currently had. It felt like
I don't think he did either.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, right? But I just think it should be fairly obvious at these points to these teams. Like, you're first picking Morph. Your strategy is to pick this carry. So you have to believe it's good, go all in it, pick a supporting cast around it, and hope Ramses can carry the game. But Kiyotaka, he's not playing for this Morphling. He's playing for himself. And then he fed on top of it, so now everyone's going to feed, because now you're just going to run all across the map as Liquid and just take over the game.
Yeah, they had a stellar performance, and they must have been over the moon. And on top of that game, I'm curious what their in-game comms sounded like during some of the fights.
There is another consideration.
I'm trying to farm my gold. Keep close. They're gonna commit on. Try to help them. I'm hitting. Yeah, we can
I'm for it.
They fucking died. They're dying.
Stunning Doctor. Come more.
Yeah.
Are we somewhere stun?
Well, any XP
Done,
and I get
done.
global.
They're dying. He's dying. Can we run in more maybe? No. I've stunned in 5. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. I get him. Maybe I saw that. I'm just going. Crossing to the bird. Sorry.
They're TPing on looping.
Morph is here. They're gonna.
I'm running. It's gonna be 5-5.
I'm running.
It's easy fight. Just take it slow.
I'm for sure dead. I think it's kind of scary here, guys.
No, it's good. Keep fighting. Keep fucking fighting. What the fuck? They cannot fight us.
Yeah. Okay, more?
Yes, blink, yeah.
Just wait. I'll catch him.
We're catching him.
That seemed to be having one overarching thought there within those team fights. Keep fighting. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go. It seemed like that was the entirety of the comms, and it makes sense because that's the type of draft they had. They played it very well. And Jack, you were about to say something right before we listened to that one.
Oh, I was just going to say the other possible option there that some teams would do, like maybe like an Aster or someone